Perhaps you already know something you don't yet know that you know. And you begin to wonder, what would it be like to live in a reality where the outside no longer defines the inside? You might begin to feel the inside was never bound by the outside at all, because once upon a time there was a matrix, not made of wires and steel, but one made of whispers of echoes, of ancient codes playing loops, of internal projectors not out there in here. A broadcast rebroadcasted from within. When you realise it was never their voice, just your memory of their voice, you're free to stop listening, free to remember who did the listening to begin with. As you remember to forget, you can forget to remember. That you forget what you once believed about the world, you can remember what the world believes about you. You're a sovereign signal, no longer waiting to be tuned. You're not waiting to be rescued. You're the one who came to rescue you. And just for a moment, or maybe for the rest of your life, you begin to notice. What was once pain becomes power. What was once fear becomes fuel. What was once conditioning becomes clarity, because every emotion felt is a doorway. Every tear cried is a river of release. Every scar is a map back to your truth. You're not broken. You're broadcast ready. You're enough. And you've always been enough. And if that seems too easy, well, sometimes the truth is simple when you stop complicating it with someone else's fear. A child once cried in fear of the dark, but later became the light others followed. A man once waited for permission to speak until he remembered his voice would create worlds. A woman healed, not by running from pain, but by sitting with it, breathing through it, and loving the one who was hurting. When you learn without learning, that feeling of pain is the portal to releasing it. That acknowledgement is alchemy, and healing is remembering that nothing was ever wrong. Then you wake up. Right now, your unconscious mind, it's installing a new program, one that runs on awareness, not avoidance, one that heals instead of hides, one that expresses without needing approval, because your state shapes your story, and your story is being rewritten from within. Every belief that once trapped you is now a teacher. Every pattern once repeated is now repurposed, because you're not a puppet of programming. You're the programmer, the rewriter, the sovereign. Let's play a little game. If failure doesn't exist, then what else have you misunderstood? If reality is feedback, then every no was a map to your yes. And if your state controls your experience, then who do you become when you choose to feel free? You're now choosing to release what isn't yours, to keep what empowers you, to embody what you've always been, the source, the creator, the sovereign self. And as you continue, notice how easy it is to accept what once felt unacceptable. You become aware of how powerful it is to let go of what was never yours to carry. A breath becomes a bridge, a thought becomes a tool, a feeling becomes freedom. And deeper still, the part of you that always knew smiles gently, because it never left. It just waited for you to remember. And the false matrix, that old broadcast of limitation, now dissolves with every word you no longer believe. Because they weren't your words, they were echoes, and echoes fade when you stop shouting back. Certainty is cultivated, not inherited. Confidence is remembering, not learning. Love is something you are, not something you earn. You now speak the language of presence, of truth, of power. You act with momentum, not perfection. You lead with resilience, not resistance. You move from a place where self-discipline is freedom. Freedom is awareness. Awareness is everything. Right now, your unconscious is connecting dots, rewriting loops, turning confusion into clarity. Because the old system, done based on fear and waiting and proving, It has no place in the operating system of your sovereignty. And the new system is built on courage, creativity, presence, power, peace. And so you upgrade not by effort but by alignment, not by fighting but by flowing. And from now on, you wear your worth like a second skin. You walk into rooms like you belong. You speak truth, not for approval, but for alignment. You let go of what was never yours and embody what was always within. And the question no longer is, can I do this? The only real question left is, how good can it get? And how soon will you allow it? Because the answer is always now. Now is yours.